Welcome to the Celebrate Brave podcast, a podcast for women in and around the tech industry. Every week, we dive into the conversations, frameworks, and best practices to help you stress less, work less, and earn a lot more. My name is Nicole Steinbach, your host and the International Bravery Coach for Women in Tech. Let's go. Hello and welcome. We have another listener question today, and this one's a fun one. It's actually directly from a client of mine. How do I know if I hate this job or this entire career? Oof, such a good question. Man, I asked myself this question a couple of times in my career, and I would say probably 25, 30% of my clients ask themselves this question when we start working together. So it's a really exciting question. And if you've been thinking this, here comes an amazing answer. There's going to be one enormous caveat to this. This caveat is when you're asking this question, there's usually significant pain behind it. There is usually some mental health components. If you are not currently in therapy, if you've never had experience with therapy, and these thoughts of, oh my gosh, here are some that I've heard. Oh my gosh, I've wasted my entire adult life. I'm $20,000 in debt and I hate this career. I'm a horrible person. I'm too stupid to change. Any of these thoughts or thoughts like them, because I can't keep going, it hurts too much. Any of these thoughts, these are thoughts where I really want to encourage you to reach out to a therapist. Okay. If the question, how do I know if I hate this job or the entire career, leads you to self-hatred or thoughts of wasting your adult life, there's something much bigger there. Okay. So that is my massive caveat there. Okay. Massive, massive caveat. All right. So back to the answer within the scope of coaching. So coaching, as we know, my definition is that we start with the present and we move into the future. So if you're asking yourself this question, here's some ways to know. Number one, you are obviously in massive stress. You got to slow down your nervous system. That means you need to start working fewer hours. You need to start obsessing less and focusing on the future more. So the first step, step 0, is you slow down your nervous system. Got some great techniques for that. You got to slow it down. Number 2, you get really clear about who you want to become. There's a framework called self-concept design that I use. It's very simple, very powerful. I took some really complicated ways to do it, brought it down to the tech simplification, and I use it with my clients, and it is utterly breakthrough. You got to be clear about who you want to become, your self-concept. Then we evaluate the gap between who you are, who you want to become, what you're doing, what you want to be doing, how you're spending your time, who you're spending your time with, and what you actually want to be doing and who you actually want to spend time with. That exercise leads to massive breakthroughs. It feels so simple. And I've had a few people who saw me speak and I shared the framework of the self-concept design. It's also available on this podcast. And they've come back to me a couple of months later and they said, you say this is enormous breakthroughs. You shared some of your client stories, Client stories about doing the self-concept work help them realize they freaking love their job. They hate who they currently work for or how they're expected to work or the environment or the product that's being put out, but they actually really enjoy their function. They love being a consultant. They love being an instructional designer or a UX designer or an executive or a senior manager or whatever. They love that. They just don't like their product. They don't like the company they're working for. They don't appreciate the strategy of the place they're working for. That was my story. I loved consulting. I love change management. I love coaching. I just couldn't see myself in the strategy anymore. Or other clients who we do this work, we get their nervous system slowed down. We look at who they want to become, what they want to be doing. We evaluate their transferable skills. We look at their future, their financial goals, their emotional goals. And they realize, oh my God, this function, this accounting function, this was good for like 10 years. And now I feel like I'm dying every day I go to work. People hear me tell these stories. They hear me share the framework. They go off and they do it on their own. And then they come back a couple of months later and they're like, it's not working. Yeah, you might need a guide. If you're not clear, if you hate the job or you hate the career, you probably need a guide to help you truly look into the future, to truly evaluate, get clear on the gap. Be brave enough to get clear with yourself, to feel the fear, to know you'll disappoint other people and work through it anyways. Because around here, what we talk about with brave is not limited to rushing into burning buildings or slamming your fist down and saying, absolutely not. Here, we're talking about crafting a career and a life that you actually love. Disappointing other people, as Glennon Doyle says, but never yourself. Making sure before you think you're actually the problem, you make sure you're not in the wrong place. That's how you know if you hate the job or you hate the career. It takes a lot of bravery, but you are already brave and you can build on that. One moment at a time. Okay, until next time, brave it up. Hey, before you go, our fellow women in tech really need these insights. So do them a favor, pop on over and leave a rating and a review on your favorite podcast platform. Help them find the Celebrate Brave podcast. All right, thanks a bunch. Until next time, brave it up.